Is Leo XIV castling to protect Francis's legacy, or is he castling to attack it? The Archbishop in Detroit has announced new TLM restrictions. Cardinal Raymond Burke has announced that he has in fact met with Pope Leo XIV to discuss rolling back those TLM restrictions. But you might remember that we also discussed on Friday the potential for fake news coming out of Religion Digital. But that same article does give us a clue and an insight to the high-stakes chess. There are some that suggest that Pope Leo is playing chess, but it's to attack the legacy of Francis. Who's right? Who's wrong? Well, both sides agree on one thing. Fernandez is the key to understanding it all. By the way, my name is Joe McLean. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below. Over the weekend, the Archbishop in Detroit announced the further restrictions of the traditional Latin Mass community in his diocese. New disappointments, more letdowns for traditional Catholics who want to remain faithful and try to do so to the best of their ability and are just being disappointed, further isolated and segregated in the Catholic community. All while Cardinal Raymond Burke announced that he has in fact met with Pope Leo and discussed this. I'm going to put a link to Michael Haynes' post in the video clip down below. Make sure to smash the thumbs up on your way down, but have a listen to this.
It is my hope that he will put an end to the present persecution of the faithful in the church who desire and to worship God according to the more ancient usage of the Roman Rite, this persecution from within the church. And I certainly have already had occasion to express that to the Holy Father, and certainly something that, it is my hope that he will, as soon as it is possible.
Are you picking up what he's putting down? Is it just me, or does somebody else feel like he's choosing his words extremely carefully? I don't know how you interpret that. Let me know below. But for me, I'm going to say it sounds to me like he understands Leo is not going to roll back these restrictions anytime soon. I mean, just imagine if we got some more on Pontificum again. Any priest anywhere in the world could say the 62 Missal anytime they wanted. They would not need to ask their bishop's approval. If they wanted to say the Novus Ordo ad Orientem, if they wanted to give communion kneeling on altar rails, then they would need to ask for permission for that. How many bishops do you suppose there are that would not want that at all? That they would want to make sure that they got to be the gatekeeper of the liturgy in their diocese? How much pressure do you think there is upon Leo XIV to not roll back those restrictions? I'm going to link to this video clip below, but you might recall last week we had a conversation with Dr. Anthony Stein about the article over at Religion Digital and whether or not Pope Leo XIV met with Fernandez, not once, not twice, but 3 times to confirm him as the doctor-in-chief. Again, I'm going to link to this video below for you to check out if you did not watch that on Friday. But I want to get into the article that we discussed because it reveals even more information than we discussed on Friday. I'll link to this article below, religiondigital.org. Check this out. From Jose Manuel Vidal. On the Vatican chessboard, where every move is closely watched and each piece has a specific weight in the balance of the church, Leo XIV has opted for castling, a strategic, almost textbook castling in which exchanging pieces, protecting the king, and securing Francis's legacy becomes the absolute priority. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? This is the reveal right here, where protecting Francis's legacy becomes the absolute priority. Protecting his legacy or bust. That's what that sentence suggests to me. What does it suggest to you? He goes on, because the atmosphere in the Roman Curia and the various dicasteries is one of latent threat, the winds of restoration are blowing strongly And the new pope knows it. Therefore, before moving forward, we must ensure what we have and that the Francis pool remains open and leading the way. What we have. Notice the royal we there. What we have is this. Does this belong to Jose Manuel Vidal? This is his we? I'm Catholic. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm not Francis Catholic or Leo Catholic, as St. Paul would even make clear. I'm not for Paul or for Peter or for Apollos. I'm for Jesus and his church. The church belongs to Christ. And this we should disturb you. It goes on. Castling in chess is the defensive move par excellence. You exchange pieces, protect your king, and reinforce your own positions before launching an attack. And that is what Leo XIV is doing in these early stages of his pontificate. He is playing defensively, yes, but with an eye to the future, to progress, to developing a strategy that will consolidate and advance Francis's legacy, especially the synodal process, which, like Bergoglio has envisioned, could materialize and culminate in the great synodal assembly of 2028. Boy, are they ever hoping against hope to keep the progressive train rolling. It goes on, the cornerstone of this castling is none other than the trusted team he chooses for the Curia. Because in Rome, people are everything. Structures matter, but they are already operating in the style established by Francis. Pope Leo will be judged above all by the names he chooses for his trusted curial team. And at this moment, the key figure, the bishop who could tip the game, is the prefect of the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, Victor Manuel Tucho Fernandez, who represents the ideological and theological heart of the reformist project promoted by Francis. So, the team, we seem to think that Fernandez is totally key to the whole strategy. It goes on, the Argentine theologian, a close collaborator of Francis, has revolutionized the most sensitive dicastery in just 2 years, presenting documents on blessings, human dignity, and burning issues that have generated both enthusiasm and controversy among the most fundamentalist sectors. What? Really? Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you for mentioning me directly in your article. Revolutionized. Do you think it's the job of the prefect of the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith to revolutionize a curial position? Does that pass the smell test in general? He should revolutionize. It's his job to revolutionize this role. No, that shouldn't pass any smell test. No one who cares whether or not you're progressive or conservative or whatever, that should bug you. It's not his job to revolutionize. It's his job to pass on the teaching of Holy Mother Church, because Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It's not his job as a progressive. It wouldn't be his job if he were a conservative. It's his job to just simply teach it. That's it. But anyway, I digress. Prevost, which don't you love it when they don't call the Pope by his papal name? They just use his baptismal name. Prevost knows this, and that's why he received Cardinal Fernandez twice during the first 10 days of his pontificate, and today he received him for the third time, according to our sources in the various audiences. The Argentine cardinal responded yes to the Pope's question about whether he could count on him, and Leo XIV confirmed him as the head of the doctrine of the faith. Again, we discussed that is exaggeration, that is fake news, really, and I'm going to link to it below for you to check out. And the continuity or replacement of Tucho will set the tone for the new era. If Leo XIV maintains him, it will be an unequivocal sign of continuity and protection of Bergoglio's legacy. If he replaces him, the more conservative sectors will see the door open as a restoration. I won't bother you with the rest of the article, except to say there's one other tidbit that I found fascinating, and that is the speculation that when Cardinal Parolin realized that he wasn't going to be obtaining enough votes to become the next pope, moved his votes into the Leo column, the Prevost column, to make a deal to ensure that he gets to be the Cardinal Secretary of State moving forward, that he keeps his job. The article speculates on that. I found that utterly fascinating. But I'm going to link to it below for you to check out. But not everybody saw this article from this light. Again, this article suggests that Leo is playing chess to protect the legacy of Francis. So I'm going to link to this below as well. Damian Thompson and the dictator Pope. I've interviewed both of them in my career, by the way. But they link to the infovaticana.com website article, The Frog in the Hot Water and the Threat of Heretics to the Pope. Again, linked below. The article says, they say Francis cooked the church over a slow fire. No abrupt impositions, doctrinal ambiguity, boundless openness, and language that seemed pastoral but was eroding its foundations, like a frog that doesn't jump if the water is slowly heated. Well, Leo XIV seems to be replicating the strategy, but in the opposite direction. Without explosions or epic headlines, something worse. I'm going to take those ads off. It's terrible. Something worse for ecclesial progressivism than an anti-modernist crusade has begun. It has begun to heal, to rebuild, to look to the wounded, to consider the faith of the simple. And they will not forgive themselves for that. The proof is in the article written this week by Jose Manuel Vidal in Digital Religion, a piece that doesn't inform or analyze, but rather threatens openly. The threats, black on white, they are without dissimulation. In other words, incredible contrast. They tell the Pope that he cannot remove Tucho Fernandez from the doctrine of the faith except to promote him to bishop or something of similar substance. This is a translation, by the way. They demand that Parolin and Peña Parra be dismissed as soon as possible. And in case he doesn't remember he owes to certain friendly press, they remind him again of the accusations prior to the conclave, emphasizing that only Religion Digital defended him. We owe it to you to be there. Don't forget to whom you owe loyalty. It's grotesque, the article says. We at Info Vaticana have decided not to dwell on the past since he was elected Pope out of respect for his office and to avoid hindering his mission. But the press, which claims to be close to the new Pope, reminds him of it daily like a credit note they're trying to cash in. They tell him, without us, you wouldn't be there. Behave yourself. Oof. Vidal's text repeats like a mantra that Leo XIV has opted for castling. Like in chess, a move, a few pieces, protect yourself, don't attack yet, but that's not what they fear. What scares them is that the Pope has begun to make his move, that he's seeing. That's what he's thinking, that he's discerning. And when one begins to look, to talk to victims, and to listen to the faithful base of the church, one can end up purging the country, not for ideology, but for justice. That's what they won't tolerate. They want him paralyzed. They demand that he bless everything that came before with his signature, that he not look back, that he remains silent, that he not listen to those who cried during the years of confusion and abandonment. Is Leo XIV castling to protect Francis's legacy, or is he castling to attack it, to bring us back to something more rational? That's the question we've been asking. Both sides seem to agree on one thing. Cardinal Fernandez is the key to understanding what exactly is going on here. If Fernandez stays, that's a clear sign, is it not? That is an endorsement of the Francis pontificate, the modernist agenda in the modernist version of synodality. If, however, Leo XIV simply fires Fernandez, that's also signaling, isn't it? It's a new day, a new sheriff in town. But what if Leo simply promotes Fernandez, gives him a job, a cush job as a nuncio someplace? I don't know. Antarctica would be nice. That'd be all right. Someplace remote, someplace where he can't get into a lot of trouble, that kind of thing. Could he get away with it? I think he's going to run into a lot of heat. And I think His Holiness Pope Leo XIV knows this. I think the pressure is on and very hot and heavy, and that is why people like Damian Thompson and the dictator Pope are suggesting that this article at Religion Digital is an outward threat to Leo, reminding him that his job, why he got voted in, is to hold the line. But what is His Eminence Cardinal Raymond Burke saying to us? It seems to me that he's planting the seeds in Leo's heart for something courageous and good. He can't guarantee that, in fact, that will happen, that will be the outcome, but he has hope. He has hope that, in fact, Leo may come through in the end. That using the same techniques, the slow and steady process of ambiguity, of just subtleties, moving us in a more progressive way, that perhaps Leo might use that same technique to move us back to reason, to sanity, to orthodoxy. What do you think? Which game is Leo playing? And why does His Eminence Cardinal Raymond Burke seem to have hope that in the end, the right side wins? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.